Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started, and we begin with team coverage tonight as heavy snow makes its way into our area as we speak. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is live in Spokane tonight, tracking how road crews are getting ready to clear those roads overnight and into tomorrow morning for the commute. First, though, we turn to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo, who's tracking the very latest as some folks around the inland Northwest are expecting more than a foot of snow. Jeremy?
Mark, it is that kind of storm. Some places are going to be shoveling more than a foot of snow. A lot of places more than 6 inches, and that includes us here in Spokane. Widespread winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories in effect for this incoming storm. And here it is. Snow's already creeping its way through central Washington. We knew this would be the case, and there it moves, already making its way through Moses Lake and moving toward Ritzville. That snow will continue to trek its way across the state, eventually hitting us here in about 2.5 hours. It continues to fall overnight and into early tomorrow morning. There is likely a window where we catch a little bit of a lull, not a break, but a lull early tomorrow morning. Either way, by the time you head out the door tomorrow, we've already got a few inches on the ground, and it just keeps coming down. Heaviest snowfall will be in the afternoon, and it just piles up. Widespread, it's heavy snow that eventually tapers off around 6 to 7 o'clock. That abrupt end, I think, is what saves us from seeing even more snow than what you see on the map. 6 to 9 inches of snow in Spokane, 9 to 12 in Coeur d'Alene. You move a little bit north of Coeur d'Alene, I think you get up near Rathdrum, maybe Athol, you're over 12 inches. Similar story in Sandpoint and St. Mary's, 12 to 18 over Lookout Pass, 12 to 24 over Snoqualmie. Inches pile up in Moses Lake and Ritzville. Snow eventually tapers off. Thursday, kind of a break. We've got more snow returning Thursday evening, and by Friday, a wintry mix that we'll talk about coming up in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will talk with you later in the show. All that snow could cause problems for tomorrow morning's commute. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk spoke to WashDOT to see what their plan is to keep the roads clear and open. Kyle?
Well, yeah, Mark, WashDOT says these storms are like Super Bowls for their drivers. They take a lot of pride in their job and keeping roads safe. And pretty soon, within just a few hours, those plows will be on roads 24 hours a day.
We're just hours away from what's expected to be the largest snow event so far this season. Spokane City, County, and state plow crews say they're ready for whatever Mother Nature puts down.
Tonight, when the snow does start to fall, we're all ready to go.
Ryan Overton with the Washington Department of Transportation says snowplows were tucked in this afternoon and crews spent the day performing preventative maintenance. WashDOT is expecting to call in additional drivers.
For those that are technically on their day off, as long as they've had 12 hours rest, they are able to come in. So they'll work 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and they will kind of hot seat the trucks. So they will keep it warm. Next person hops in as the other person hops out. So that way we have coverage on the roads pretty much 24/7.
WashDOT is asking drivers to limit or avoid travel altogether, especially over the mountain passes. If you do have to leave home, make sure you're prepared.
Even a cell phone charger, having that in your vehicle is probably pretty critical. If you were to get trapped, having the ability to be able to make a phone call, enough gas is probably the second thing that I would tell drivers. We saw that last weekend near the Vantage Bridge, where we had semi trucks get stuck and block the roadway, not allowing people to pass. Having enough gas in your vehicle is pretty critical.
And Mark, the city of Spokane says its drivers are also ready for this storm. Today, satellite locations throughout the city were topped off with supplies, so that means that trucks won't have to drive far to refill with de-icer, sand, and other materials. Mark?
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. Live in Spokane tonight. Our forecast is warming up, but that hasn't prevented problems from homes, businesses, and schools across North Idaho. Several schools are closed from water damage today. Fernan STEM Academy, just one of the schools, on an extended break because of a break in the water main. Coeur d'Alene School District says a boiler went down last night, allowing pipes to freeze and then burst.
For several hours, it dumped water into the building. When our custodian got here about 5 o'clock, he found about 2 inches of water on the floor over about a third of the building.
Rathdrum North Idaho STEM Charter Academy also flooded with nearly an inch of water on the ground. That was due to a fire sprinkler breaking overnight. And for a full list of school closures, we have that list at the bottom of your screen or on our website, KREM.com. You can also catch the very latest on Up with KREM starting at 5 a.m. early tomorrow morning. In other news, we have new details in the disappearance and death of Janelle Martinson. The Spokane County Medical Examiner is now ruling her death as a homicide due to blunt force trauma. Police discovered her body this past December in a truck bed toolbox in Valley Ford. Court documents reveal that her ex-boyfriend Colton Russell and his new girlfriend Kiera Morgan Whelan were two suspects in her disappearance. They were murdered days before Janelle's body was discovered. Police say this man, Brandon Kenny, admitted to killing them after helping Russell get rid of Martinson's body. His case now heads to Spokane Superior Court. New tonight, there is a push in Olympia to ditch the switch permanently. Daylight saving time is already banned in the state, but we still have to change our clocks twice a year. In 2019, Washington passed a law to eliminate daylight saving time, but that requires congressional approval, which has not happened yet. So legislators are trying to switch to standard time permanently, which is something that a state legislature can do.
I just think the rhythms of life go better if we're on some permanent, be it daylight or standard time.
Legislators heard from sleep experts who say standard time is natural time. One called it God's clock, and they said losing and gaining those hours twice a year is just not healthy. Also new tonight, the number of people killed on Idaho roads reached a 20-year high. According to the Idaho Department of Transportation, 2023 saw 277 motorists die in traffic accidents. That is the highest it's been since 2003. The data consists of car and motorcycle crashes, as well as people and bicyclists that were killed in traffic. IDOT says some of the top contributing factors were lane control, speeding, and drunk driving. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A judge out of Texas granted a motion allowing Idaho to join a lawsuit hoping to make an abortion pill illegal. That Texas lawsuit was filed back in 2022 against the FDA over the abortion pill mifepristone. A ruling came down last Friday allowing Idaho, Missouri, and Kansas to join the group's lawsuit against the FDA. This lawsuit will head to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the decision is expected to be reached coming up this summer. New tonight, a new list of gun-related laws could be coming to Washington. Legislators in Olympia today heard debate on bills which would put limits on who can buy guns and how often. Of the five, one would require permits for all gun buyers. Another would require owners report lost or stolen guns within 24 hours. New security standards would be set for gun dealers. The state would have to destroy all guns seized by the state patrol, and there would be a limit on how many guns someone could buy at a time, making that limit one per month. Today, a Western Washington judge declined to hear a case claiming that former President Donald Trump is ineligible to appear on the state's March primary ballot. Last week, a group of voters in Kitsap County submitted a signed affidavit saying that Trump should not be on the primary ballot because he incited an insurrection on January 6th of 2021, and they say that invalidates him to run for office given their interpretation of the 14th Amendment. Today, the judge said that the case needs to be heard in Thurston County, where the state capital is located.
You can't take away a vote from somebody when the vote is illegal under the rule of law. And if we are not a nation that adheres to the Constitution, then we have nothing to stand on.
Other states, including Oregon and Colorado, have filed similar challenges. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to hear a version of this argument in February. Washington's presidential primary for both parties is on March 4th. Well, one day after winning the Republican caucuses in Iowa, Donald Trump was in a New York courtroom where a jury will decide how much he'll pay in damages for defaming writer E. Jean Carroll. This second trial concerns Trump's public comments about Carroll, which he made both while he was the president and after a jury found him liable for sexually abusing her back in the 90s. Trump has said that he plans to testify in his own defense. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time, but